Okay, I tacked a better conclusion onto the Baby Blue track. This is, I was calling it a radio edit at first. It's more of a original mix. A friend of mine pointed out that a radio edit that is 7 minutes long, or a little under 7 minutes long, because it actually starts here on like 14 seconds in. So like 6 minutes and 46 seconds long. A little bit of a long radio edit. So it's an original mix. Be kind of fun to try and make a radio edit out of it as well. But the end here is significantly different than it was yesterday, and I think for the better. I will definitely do one that has kind of like an extended edit with like a beat that like trails out for my own sake, for if I was to ever DJ this track. But I'll play it from kind of like the little bit in the guitar solo section all the way through the end, and you can hear it. Tell me what you think. And that's how the piece ends. It's taking from the middle of the piece, kind of the cool down section after the first drop. I really liked this transition. That hits really well. And I was like, what a great way to end the piece. Just kind of like recycle that same idea. Also, I'm just now listening to that, realizing why would you do that? That this did not take. The bypass is still on. Okay, listen to this now. Better indeed. The things that we're doing here, realizing also you kind of can't see because I have the end of the track literally drawn there. I have to pull this out here. Now I can show you because the edge of the screen's been off basically the entire duration of this challenge. We have a few different elements kind of going here. The organs here, which we used over there. Kind of filling up our mid-range there. You can see it on the span. On the multimeter down there, the bass here, filling in the low end, and then this little Baby Blue vocal that cuts off pretty sharply there, and then we have it fade into this. Into that guy there. And then just a big old kind of ringing out serotonin. I call this thing serotonin because it's the name of the patch is Serotonin Impact, I think. Serotonin Trance. I love this. It's just a splice sample, and I'm using it in pretty much everything now. But we also copy and pasted over the automation data, which I do that in Logic by just creating a empty MIDI region on the bus area that I am automating there. So this MIDI data is just from over here, and I just took that and copy pasted it, and it puts all the MIDI data in the exact same spot as long as you start it kind of in the same measure that you want it to on the other side. And that MIDI data there is just adding this little sweep. Going all the way back down, and I put that data in there, and then was like, why do I really feel like this feels different? It doesn't have that same sort of sound to it, and it was because there was nothing like in the mid range, and then this section here we really had before today. This wasn't there, this wasn't there, and this wasn't there, and this wasn't there, and it was like this. just kind of like hits. It doesn't have that. You don't feel it going like zooming through the frequency band as that sweep comes back down. So you had to kind of fill up the mid range. So we added back in basically all the sounds we've had in this section at any point. A little bit maximalist here at the end, but putting like this guy back in. This guy which is it just happens one time in the piece. It happens over here. This is always kind of had this like kind of Mannheim Steamroller vibe to me that I kind of like. Well, that's where it's happening there. But we don't do that at any other place, so I feel like doing it just one time right here at the very end makes a lot of sense. Also that guy. And then that guy, and then this guy. There's just all sorts of little layers. Also with the guitar in the background there. So it's a little bit busy, but it's kind of okay. It's just that's kind of what's supposed to happen here at the end of a piece like this. And because of that, it gives us lots and lots of information to sweep through. Comes on back down there, and you don't hear any bass because that's the bass comes in from down here in this other channel. There is, I don't know what is happening. There is a little pocket where I feel the bass. I like there's a moment where between when the sweep comes down, the bass kicks in. Where over here. And I swear it's the exact same thing. And maybe it's there as well. I just, for some reason, have always felt like it more seamlessly hands off. So maybe that's something I can take a look at. But I swear it's the sort of thing that only I'm going to notice. In general, the piece is in a really good spot now. A few notes from the friend that I sent it to, who I respect the opinion of. He pointed out that the percussion is not that interesting, and they're absolutely right that the percussion here, when the percussion is going, when we have kind of the full percussion bit, it's just kick drum from one end to the other and snare from one end to the other with just a few little moments of just a few moments of coming in there, kind of putting something on like an and have the kick drum be out. So like a few more moments like that to like sparse or make the percussion a little bit more interesting, I think would be a really good idea. I also think in this section, having a unique percussion loop here, I think would actually would really help this section stand out. And I've been thinking about the fact that like I use toppers that I get off of Splice almost exclusively. Part of why I do that is because this isn't the interesting part of EDM to me. I want the drums to sound good. I want them to hold down the rhythmic backline, but I want to like be creative with the synths and with the harmonies and with the actual sounds I'm really paying attention to. The drums are super important, but to me they're not the creative part of it. So I do a lot of not being creative with the drums, but I do think that's a weakness of mine. I think it's something to work on, is like figure out like how do I actually make a sound like this, because this is not a sound I have tried to make, and it does sort of seem like the sort of sound that you like need a drum kit, like I'm at this point I would be just putting together samples to make what is effectively a sample. And that's not the same as like making those sounds myself, So, I mean, it's the sort of thing I could do with like a tool like, I think it's called Live. It's a tool that I've seen Virtual Riot used, or like it turns kind of everyday sounds into a percussion loop, and that'd be kind of a fun thing to try. I think it's like $100 plugin though, so I don't want to spend more money on it. But just going out and like making some plinky sounds. Like picking things up and dropping them and stuff, and then recording those and trying to make some drums out of it might be something I should try doing and like learn this instead of just continuing to use loops for our toppers here. But for the sake of this track, finding that just a different topper that has sort of like a more of a groove or a shuffle to it, I think would be really cool in this section and make it stand out instead of reusing another drum bit from somewhere else in the track. And yeah, there's a few other little things I want to try, but in general, I'm pretty happy with this piece. And I think tomorrow, although I will call the piece done for the sake of the challenge, and I'll put it on SoundCloud, and you guys can all hear it there. So yeah, it's we're getting close, getting near the end of the challenge here. I'm very excited about it, but that's all we had time for today. Thank you so much for watching. See you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.